All right, guys, Tuesday, right? Moving through the week here. We have kind of two parts for today. The first part is going to be kind of a gymnastic strength piece. It's going to be a descending ladder followed by an ascending ladder, right? Rep schemes are going to be relatively consistent. Our rest is going to be remaining the same. Again, this portion is going to be for time. So within 10 minutes is the goal, or rather the cap, to complete the following. So you'll do 10 strict handstand push-ups with 1 minute of a rest, followed by 8 strict handstand push-ups, again resting for 1 minute, 6 strict handstand push-ups, 1 minute rest, and then after you finish that round of 6, we're gonna go back up. So again, we'll hit 6 again, 6 strict handstand push-ups, rest 1 minute, 8 strict handstand push-ups, rest 1 minute, 10 strict handstand push-ups to finish. So again, goal's gonna be within 10 minutes. When I look at this, I'm kind of thinking, probably right here, I should be able to do these unbroken. And I would also encourage you to do the same for whatever modification you want to go with today. We'll kind of dive into mods here shortly. But again, right here, I'm thinking, okay, should be able to get through this without a problem, strict. I may run into a little bit of a challenge here toward, going back up in terms of my reps, just because the volumes will have tended to increase here. But again, having 1 minute rest, I want to be intentional about moving my arms around, doing everything I can to recover. The goal here with that much rest involved is to try to be able to hit these unbroken. But again, just to kind of prepare yourself for the fatigue element that I think you're going to experience here, specifically with 8 and 10. 10 minutes isn't going to be a lot of time just because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of built-in rest. So again, it's a fair amount of volume within a 5-minute window. But again, that's the first part. So your score is going to include the 5-minute rest, and you'll just note a time. Or obviously, if you don't finish, you'll note your reps. For the WOD, we have kind of a couplet followed by another couplet. So it'll be 5 rounds of 11 calories for the men on the bike, 9 for the ladies, 10 chest to bar pull-ups. So again, 5 rounds is going to be quick, right? Kind of going through quickly. Your chest to bar modification is probably something that, I'm looking over here at the cap being 15 minutes. We want to make sure that whatever mod we could probably do in at least 2 sets, right? If we're doing 3 and 4 sets of whatever modification we're going with, especially in the beginning, we need to kind of be a little bit more selective just to make sure that we kind of hit that desired kind of heart rate and that output so we keep moving. So again, we'll be mindful about what modification we pick for the chest to bar if needed. After you do 5 rounds of this couplet, it goes directly into 5 rounds of 10 power cleans at a fairly manageable weight, 95 for the men, 65 for the ladies, followed by 10 push jerks. So again, you'll definitely get your heart rate up here, and then getting in these last 5 rounds, it's gonna be burning, right? Because you're gonna want to go pretty quick. It's lightweight. It's kind of just hold on, grip it, and rip it. Do everything you can, and then after that kind of 13 to 15 minute window, you'll be feeling definitely like you got your money's worth. So again, that's for Tuesday, and we'll talk about some specific movement stance as well as the warm up. All right, y'all, so the warm-up, suggested warm-up for Tuesday. Again, you can obviously warm up as you so choose, but again, we'll definitely keep giving you guidance in terms of movements that are gonna help you be warm for sure, for the movements that are listed for that day in the particular WOD. So for today, we're gonna do 2 rounds, so that's why it just says repeat here, of the following: of a 200-meter run, followed by a bear crawl. We'll say back and forth, right? So the length of the gym, there and back. Will be 1 bear crawl. So again, we kind of often will say rig to ropes. So there and back of a bear crawl. 10 calories on the bike. You'll be needing a bike or a rower today. Prescribed will be bike, but if you just aren't feeling the bike, there's rowers in here as well. Then we'll do 10 strict presses with just the empty barbell. And then we'll do 5 wall walks, followed by 10 hand release push-ups. So we'll go through that 2 times. And with that, you should be nice and warm and ready to go. All right, guys, so we're gonna hit on both the handstand push-up as well as the chest to bar modification. So again, starting with the handstand push-up. So again, it's strict today. So if you are gonna be doing it with some plates and some mat, remember prescribed is going to be a 25-pound plate on each side with an ab mat in the middle. That's fine. Again, we'll use that as kind of the prescribed or the RX standard for your setup. But again, if you're doing strict, you don't necessarily have to use that. One of the things I do want to kind of be cognizant of, right, is when we're doing these push-ups, try to be consistent with our grip position. So, whether it's the open or whether it's any of these other kind of competition type styles, right, we want to make sure that we don't get in a habit of getting too far wide with our grip, with our hands, right? Yeah, it does shorten kind of the range of motion, but again, we're kind of missing on that last part of the strength, being able to get nice and tall on the wall. So again, if I was gonna be doing my strict handstand push-up here, right, I'd kick to the wall, nice and controlled. I try to touch the top of my head, right, the crown of my head, pushing back up, right, back down. Trying to avoid kind of that forehead here. Try to really be intentional, top of the head, pushing back up, right? So that's prescribed against the wall. For the box, right? So I've got a box set up here. Box push-ups, if done correctly, can be just a great progression to that. You can get really sore, nice and strong from doing a well-positioned box push-up. So again, what we're gonna do is I've got a box laying down here, and the goal that I'm trying to achieve is I'm trying to get as vertical or as much in an A position as I can. Going down, again, touching the top of my head, pushing back up, okay? Back down, back up, okay? So that's another modification. I would probably try to stick to that today. You can do strict dumbbell presses, but again, I think getting inverted, going upside down is a closer progression to the handstand push-up. So unless you have kind of a barring injury or you're just not ready to go upside down, let's try to stick with a box formatted push-up today for the modification if you're not doing the strict push-up for that. So you can do that. Obviously, prior to that, you can scale by doing kipping if you needed on the on your mat or your setup. But again, let's not go more than 2 mats for that. For the chest to bar pull-up, again, the standard is you can butterfly, touching the front of my chest, hitting right just below my chest line there. I would say for today, jumping chest to bars is gonna be your next best progression. Obviously, you can always scale down and do pull-ups in that manner. If you want to string pull-ups together, you feel like you can do close to 10 or maybe 7, 3 for pull-ups, that's fine. But again, jumping chest to bars is gonna be the same. We've talked about, we want that bar to be about where our wrist is, with arms straight above our head, jumping all the way down, jumping back up, full extension at the bottom, coming back up. So again, that's the handstand push-up as well as the chest to bar modification. All right, guys, for the WOD, for our power cleans, as well as our push jerks, right? So again, the weight is relatively light. So again, someone like myself, who I'm not extremely proficient in a lot of touch and go movements, for me that 95 is going to be right where I know I got to go unbroken for me on each of those. So again, I'm not saying if you can't go unbroken, you need to go lighter, but just know that right here it's kind of a grip and rip it style format with that weight being lighter. 5 rounds is a little bit higher in terms of kind of the volume piece there. But again, you're going to do 10 power cleans. That's going to be, again, from the floor each time, 10 power cleans. Back down, right? On the 10th one, depending on if you've rested or not, you can go immediately into it, right? We're just doing a push jerk. So dipping, driving underneath, right? With the weight being so light, obviously let's avoid needing to split. It's just a regular push jerk here, all right? One of the things to consider maybe in terms of the strategy, if you're in that 3rd or 4th round and you're not gonna be able to do all 20 reps unbroken, what I would probably do is maybe do 8 or 9 power cleans, take a quick breather, right? And then on that 10th power clean, establish that front rack, then use that 10th clean to be the final power clean for that round of, or that round of 10, and then directly into push jerks from that standpoint. So again, on a push jerk, really want to be thinking about sending our bottom back, driving up, standing up all the way in the top, back down, cycling through, right? Really making sure we finish by standing all the way up before this bar starts to come back down. So sometimes we get tired, we'll kind of let that bar ride down before we stand all the way up. Dip, standing up, right? Again, that one's gonna kind of be a grip it and rip it. You'll be hurting pretty bad after that, but definitely a good one for a Tuesday.